All right, Kinsey. So here's what your sheet looks like. I have all of the copies in Selena Rivera's box. So you might want to grab that in the morning. Inherited traits. I would tell the kids, we're going to talk about inherited traits today. So this is a new thing. Should be fun. Still life science, but I need y'all to, let's work, before we start the fun, we need to discuss these terms. If I asked y'all to list traits about your best friend, what do you think that means? And you might like actually use it in class, like Colton. If I said list the traits about your best friend, if I said list all the traits about, Kaylee, or list all the traits about Mrs. Pierce, do you know what that means? Do any of y'all know what that means? And they might say something like describe. That's great. Yes. Describe. Describe what? How they act? Maybe. What they look like? So, what am I asking you? Describe. Describe what? Describe their characteristics, or how about we just put describe? Heck, that works for me. What am I looking for? I'm asking you to describe them. All right, so that brings us to synonyms. What are synonyms? Synonyms are words that S mean the same. So we say traits, but if you're describing them, you're describing their characteristics or their physical properties. And this is one y'all should know really well in science, I would tell them. Miss Pierce said that y'all have done this a lot, like list the physical properties of the fork, or list the physical properties of the book. That means to describe their attributes. So we could write attributes here, we could write qualities. I mean, it's what you want. Okay, next question. What does it mean if something is inherited? If I said you inherited that, what does that mean? Inherited means you received it. That's true. Received something. Well, where do you receive it from generally? If you inherit something, yeah, receive something from family. Yeah, generally, if an inheritance is something you get from family. All right, so let's put that together. You said traits are descriptions, characteristics, and inherited means you received them from family. So an inherited trait would be attributes. There's another synonym. Characteristics passed down from parents to their offspring. Offspring meaning their babies, their children. So you need to just take like 5 to 10 minutes, introduce that, and say, all right, well, we're going to have a special visitor. We're going to check out the bunny. Miss Simon's going to be bringing a bunny. If Miss Simon happens to come in before you're done with that, that's fine. Stop and say, all right, we've talked about this so far. Let's look at the bunny. Let's write bunny in the middle. Inherited traits. What did this bunny inherit from its parents? In other words, it's not learned. It's something you're born with, and it's a way to describe the rabbit. And you're not going to touch the rabbit? No, y'all are acting crazy. You're not going to touch the rabbit or anything if you don't calm down. We're going to answer this first while she's in here. What are some descriptions? What are some traits about a rabbit that you think it's born with? It doesn't learn them. It has them because of the parents. Yeah, fur. Is it thick or thin? Thick. Okay, so let's add that description. Thick fur. Yeah, good. Long ears. Yeah. Do you know the size of your ears is inherited? You could have short ears, long ears. Yes, the cotton tail. What else? Yeah, whiskers. What else? Like, look at rabbits. They usually have a pretty big hind leg. Do you know why they have large hind legs? Yeah, it's for jumping. It's more power. Miss Simon, or I'd ask the kids, do y'all know a way that a rabbit is like a cat? Okay, yes, you can pet it. But there's something that cats do, or that this rabbit, if I hand you this rabbit might do this, not bite. You might have to get to that they have claws. Or ask Miss Simon, are their feet soft? Yes, but they have claws. But then you also could say that it's born with paws, because they are. And then you could say white hair. Yeah. I mean, or gray hair. I mean, because the color is also a trait. If your parents were a red rabbit, then you're probably going to be red. So if they do well with that and participate, they can pet Bunny. Thank you, Miss Simon. Go. All right. And then this will be on the back side and say, all right, we're going to tally. You know, y'all read me the title. What inherited traits do you possess? What about your classmates? So we're going to tally mark our inherited traits. Again, who did you inherit these things from? Your parents. Let's write that down, because read it, write it, say it. If you don't read it, write it, say it 50 times, it's not going to stick with you. And traits. Traits, are they something you learn? No, they are a physical characteristic. And I'd get them to write that. Physical, as in we can see it, we can touch it, we can hear, we can sniff it, that kind of thing, senses. All right, so some of these y'all are going to know, other ones we don't. So ability to roll your tongue. So then you go like this. Right? You know, this is what it means to roll your tongue. I can do it. How many of you can roll your tongue? Show me and raise your hand. All right, I'm going to count. And keep your hand up, keep your tongue rolled. So then, you know, there's 15 of us. And I would count myself because I always include myself. All right, 15. Awesome. All right, dimples. Dimples. All right, dimples. I don't have dimples, so you might have to pull up on your phone on Google what a dimple looks like. Make sure it's not a butt dimple. Make sure it's a cheek dimple on the face. And then, okay, it looks like 4 of you or 6 of you have dimples. Did y'all know that's an inherited trait? You have dimples because probably your mom or dad or both have them. If your parents don't have them, guess where you probably got them from? Yeah, grandparent. Curly hair. Now, if any of you straighten your hair, I need to know that. When you get out of the shower, when your hair naturally dries, is it curly? Okay. 8 of you. All right, freckles. All right, we've got 3 in here with freckles. How many of you are right-handed? Okay, well, if we have 20 kids and 4 are raising their hand, and 16 are raising their hand that they're right-handed, how many are not right-handed? Or that doesn't make any sense, sorry. If there are 20 kids and 4 of you are not raising your hand, that means 4 of you are left-handed, which means 16 are right-handed. See what I was trying to do there, some subtraction? Widow's peak. Again, you may have to Google that. Show them on your phone on the overhead. And then, all right, let's look. I want y'all to pull your hairline up, and we're going to look at each person. So I would walk by each person, all right? What do y'all think? Widow's peak or not? This one will take a little bit. Okay, 2 people have a widow's peak in here. All right, and then the clasping of the hands. Okay, how many of you have your left thumb on top? Okay, 18 of us. Wow, that's a lot. Now, crazy or not, that is an inherited trait. It's something you inherited that your parents also do. Switch your thumbs. Such a simple thing. You feel how weird that is? Ick. And then y'all make a dot plot. So a title. So I would put class. Titles are capitalized because they're names. Class, inherited traits. This is our dot plot. So we need to put rolling tongue. And you can put them in any order you want. Dimples. Curly hair. Freckles. I should have put these in here already. Right-handed. So they didn't have to write. Widow's peak. And then left over right. And if you want, y'all can initial these. It doesn't really matter, Kinsey. If you have enough time, write it. If you don't. All right, so what do all these represent? These are inherited traits. So it's a title of this. It's a subtitle. Main title, sub. All right, how many could roll the tongue? 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many have dimples? 6. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One thing we need to make sure is of accuracy. So if we're going to do this, we need to make sure our 6 are equal with that 6. And I always like to put my number above. All right, how many have curly hair? 8. Well, that 8 needs to be the same height as the other, and 6 needs to be with 6. This is accuracy. When you're making something, you want it to be accurate, and so on. And then answer the questions. Based on a dot plot, how many people were surveyed? Well, Catherine wasn't thinking. They're in here numerous times, so y'all are going to have to do this like, well, we had 21 in the class. That's students plus teacher. All right, how many classmates have straight hair? Well, 8 have curly. So if we have 21 kids and 8 have curly, then the rest have straight. 8, 9, 10. So 13. So doing some math. Left-handed, well, you already did that. If 4 didn't raise their hand, they were left-handed. And then how many do not possess a widow peak? You know, what's the difference between how many possess one and how many do not? Well, 5, 10, 15, 18 kids, 2 kids have a widow's peak. So 2 have a widow's peak. If we have 21 kids and 2 do have it, then that means 19 do not. How much more is 19 than 2? 17. So, and you could make them do the math on their own, like after you do the 21. But I would just tell them they're going to get a participation grade. And that's what you're doing tomorrow.